Thank you, Governor, for the kind introduction. I would like to welcome Your Excellencies, the Honorable Ministers of Maldives, Bhutan, Nepal, and of course Bangladesh, as well as His Excellency, the ITU Secretary General, for coming here this year for our annual Digital World event that we started last year and we hope to continue for the foreseeable future every year here in Dhaka. You've heard a little introduction of the progress that we have made. I would like to go a little bit more in detail. In 1971, after Bangladesh gained independence, Henry Kissinger made a comment about this country. He called it a bottomless basket. Well, today, Bangladesh is definitely not a bottomless basket. Today, it has become a digital Bangladesh. However, none of this existed 6 years ago. The Digital Bangladesh plan was part of our government, the Awami League, Bangladesh Awami League Party's election manifesto in 2008. We made it a promise that we would bring about this transformation. Prior to the election of our government in December 2008, digitization did not exist anywhere in Bangladesh. Mobile penetration was about half of what it is now. Internet penetration was insignificant, barely less than 1%. No government services were digitized, and there was hardly any network available, broadband network. There was no broadband network available outside of a couple of major cities. We only had one submarine cable, one lone submarine cable linking us to the internet and the rest of the world. And any time that submarine cable would break or be disrupted, the entire country would be cut off from the internet. Besides that, our government has been committed to developing Bangladesh, taking it forward, developing the economy, lifting up the lives of the people. And towards that end, I'd like to share some statistics here. So if you look at the data, in 2008, our poverty level in Bangladesh was 40%. By 2014, which is just 6 years, we brought it down to 26%. And that is in a country with a population of 160 million people. That means in 6 years, we lifted up almost 30 million people from poverty, just in 6 years. Our literacy rate was 49%. It has increased again to 65% in just 6 years. Our electricity grid, only 27% of the country, of the population, had access to the electricity grid itself. Today, 62% of the population has access to the electricity grid, and this is continuing to grow. We hope to take it to 100% within the next 4 or 5 years. Wireless, we only had 2G cellular service available throughout the country. In the last 6 years, we first issued WiMAX licenses and WiMAX service started. Then we issued 3G licenses, 3G services started, and now 3G service is available throughout Bangladesh. 4G is coming. We issued one license end of last year, and we plan to have an auction for the remaining spectrum next year. And we hope that within the next 4 years, that 4G service will be available throughout Bangladesh. Internet usage in 2008, there's the statistic. It was 0.4%, 0.4% of the population used the internet in 2008. Today it's 27% in just 6 years. Mobile users, 20 million, today 120. That's really subscribers, the number of SIMs in use, as many users have multiple SIMs, but still. Social media, insignificant social media usage. Today, 8 million plus social media users in Bangladesh. One new Facebook user every 20 seconds from Bangladesh. I believe Bangladesh is Facebook's fastest growing country. E-services, realistically at the time there were no e-services other than a few from the private sector in 2008. No government e-services existed in 2008. Today, 100 plus in major development sectors. Approximately 75% of all government services have been digitized to some extent. Access points for people to actually access the internet publicly, only less than 10 places throughout the country that you could use. Essentially cyber cafes where you could go access computers and the internet, less than 10 throughout the entire country. Today there are 5,200 plus, 5,200 of them built by the government of Bangladesh. ICT policy 2008, we really did not have much of an ICT policy and it wasn't implemented. We did not have a separate ministry or even division for ICT in 2008. It was all created during our last term in this past 6 years. And now we started with the ICT policy of 2009. And now we have robust ICT policies across the ministry, across different ministries, education, health, local government, PPP, throughout. For these achievements, not just for the achievements itself, but for the rapid pace of innovation and achievements that the government of Bangladesh has brought about, we have won award after another. We've won the MDG Award in 2010, MDG eHealth Award 2011, Poverty Reduction Award in 2013. You've heard about the Wazed Award, the Global ICT Excellence Award, and the South-South Cooperation Visionary Award, which we have all received within the last couple of years for the rapid progress that Bangladesh has made, which has been unprecedented. There are very few countries in the world that have been able to reduce poverty, increase education this rapidly in their history at any time. One of the goals, one of the primary goals of Digital Bangladesh that we set about was that there should not be a digital divide, that the digitization should not just benefit those that are well-to-do or upper middle class and educated and have access. We wanted to include the entire population, even the rural population that is illiterate, that does not have direct access to the internet. To that end, our government services digitization focused on a bottom-up and inclusive approach. Birth and death registrations, they were non-existent at one point. They were not enforced at all, and they certainly weren't digitized. We've digitized those. Land records have been digitized. Land records are the source of the vast majority of court cases in Bangladesh, but with digitization, a lot of that will go away. Examination results. This is a big deal because people in the rural areas have to travel to the nearest town to take the exams, and they have to travel back to get the results. Today, they get the results online. It's sent out on mobile phones through SMSs, text messaging, and it's available online immediately. Government forms can be downloaded online. The biggest advantage, again, was that in the past, 6 years ago, when a citizen in a village or a small town needed to access government services, he had to travel to the nearest town, go to the nearest government office, wherever that may be, and then stand in line for a couple of hours just to pick up a form. Then he would have to have someone else, because most of them would be illiterate. He would have to take it back, have someone else help him fill it out, gather the necessary paperwork, come back, stand in line again. Today, he can go to any digital center throughout the country. These 5,200 digital centers that the government has built in every union of throughout the country. We have 4,500 unions, which are our smallest local government unit. He can go to his nearest digital center and download any form online right away and then submit it online right there. He does not have to travel far at all. Digital photography, computer training, mobile banking. Again, this is becoming a big life changer for the majority of people, because especially the people in the rural areas, they don't have a bank branch near them. They are now able to transact money and even receive government subsidies, stipends, checks through their mobile phones. And then, of course, you have insurance, health training, health consultations. This has been one of the key differentiators. Our health ministry was actually one of the first ministries to really go ahead with the adoption of IT technology. And one of the big changes they made was that we built over 14,000 community healthcare clinics throughout the country, but we don't have enough doctors to man them all. So they have to consult with doctors in the nearest town. Well, how do you do that from a remote community healthcare clinic? There's a healthcare worker there, but he or she is not a trained doctor. So we sent them all a laptop and a webcam. And using off-the-shelf software, Skype, they can consult with the patient and a doctor in a town to diagnose the patient live online. And this has made a tremendous difference. As I mentioned, 5,300 digital centers. Again, all of them built by the Access to Information program under the Prime Minister's office. The first 4,501, which are the target was one in every union. We have 4,501 unions. The plan was to build them in 3 years. The work started in 2009. It was completed 2 years ahead of schedule. They were all completed in 2010. These digital centers now service 4.5 million citizens every month. 4.5 million citizens receive service at these digital centers every month. As I mentioned, government services have been simplified, where previously, because all government services were paper-based, the time for processing for a land record application, birth registration, could take weeks, literally weeks. Now they're done in 2 to 5 days. Someone fills out the form online, it goes online to the central office, they process it, send the results back. 2 days later, 3 days later, the villager has whatever he needs. Decision making has become simplified. They no longer have to search for a file that's hiding somewhere. All data is available online. Government service officers can look up online. Toward that end, just a few days ago, the ICT ministry, we distributed 25,000 tablets to all government officers throughout the country. All 18,000 government offices received these tablets so that they can provide services to citizens no matter where they are. And the direct cost to the citizen has been reduced because the villagers no longer have to travel. The travel expense was a major expense because to a villager, that the bus ticket to the nearest town, especially if he has to go back 2 or 3 times, it was a major expense. He no longer has to spend that money. There are entrepreneurs who run our digital centers. They pay them a small fee. It's still a fraction of what he would have spent on the bus travel and the transportation and food and lodging. And it has reduced their cost by 50%, which totals 450 crores. Crores are, what is that, billion, 10 billion. So that's 4.5 billion taka is saved by the citizens of Bangladesh. And it also saves 65 crores for the government of Bangladesh. For these government services, for the access for citizens, our government built the largest web portal, the largest government web portal in the world. It has 25,000 portals in it, all under one address, and I believe 31 million web pages. And these were all developed through crowdsourcing by government officers. We trained government officers and we provided them tools to rapidly build web pages and some models. And 50,000 government officers and these digital center entrepreneurs built the 25,000 government web portals that we have, 31 million web pages. We also have a program where teachers can develop content and collaborate online. Again, the model is we provide them tools. These are simple software tools that we can train them quickly on how to develop content using these tools. And it allows them to collaborate. And there are 50,000 teachers throughout the country collaborating online, sharing content that they have developed for teaching for specific subjects throughout the country. Some more statistics. I don't know if you can read them. To date, since these digital centers opened, 115 million transactions, citizen transactions have taken place through these digital centers. These digital center entrepreneurs who man these have earned 1.38 billion taka in their service fees. That's the amount of money they have made in providing these services to citizens. In talking to some of these entrepreneurs, and this is, even in the small unions near every village in Bangladesh, even in some of the smaller unions, these village youths, the digital entrepreneurs are village youths that we have trained to run these centers and operate the government software, the web portals and services that are provided. And I've had many sessions with them, and they've all told me that sitting in these unions, wherever they are, in most of them, they are earning individually 40, 50, 60, 70,000 taka per month. That's $1,000 per month that a village youth is earning, sitting in his village, in every union throughout the country. It's been a life changer for them. In order to help the growth of these services, as well as the software and IT industry, our government has launched a service innovation fund. It was launched by the Honorable Finance Minister, who is present today. Now, one of the targets of Digital Bangladesh as well was that we would start, and one of the ways we were able to achieve this rapid growth was what I called, let's start with version 1, or in tech terms, version 1.0, which is we didn't want to try to make this comprehensive plan for all government services, hire foreign consultants, and try to build this massive pieces of software using large software companies to build these massive softwares, which would take years to build, would be very complicated, and we would have to wait 4, 5, 6 years for the result. We said, no, let's start these from the on a small scale. Every ministry, every division, whatever services they need, let's develop those modules, and they can be developed by anyone, whether it's a small IT company in Bangladesh or a foreign company. And so the vast majority of our initial government services, the digitization was actually provided by local Bangladeshi companies and bases, our software association. So in order to help them, we wanted one of their big complaints of these small startup companies was that were trying to develop these service softwares and portals for the government, was that they did not have finance. So in order to help them, we provided this fund. So 1,200 proposals, since 2013, 1,200 proposals were evaluated in 3 rounds. 35 awards were given. 50% were private sector, 50% were government services. Some of these are digital talking textbooks for visually disabled children. Agriculture extension, crop disease diagnostics. This is really neat. So a villager, a farmer in a remote village, if he has a problem with his crop, all he has to do is take a picture through his mobile phone and text that picture to an address where then it's analyzed by agro experts in the government agencies, and they can diagnose and text him back a remedy, what fertilizer he should use, whether it's a disease, what chemicals he should use. He gets that within a matter of days, if not hours. Low cost, medical diagnostics, 3D printing for artificial limbs, that's happening in Bangladesh. Land records are being digitized, e-learning platforms. So we have migrant workers that travel throughout the country, and as well as internationally, we have a huge migrant population. And we are providing them necessary skills training online to enhance their earning potential when they go abroad, as well as the migrants within the country. Our part of Digital Bangladesh has been to connect all government offices throughout the country. We have 18,000 direct government offices throughout the country, plus other attached agencies. The total is something like 23,000, 25,000 offices. In the past 6 years, we've taken 3 different projects to slowly connect them using direct fiber optic cable, true broadband. So the first phase was connecting all the ministries, directorates, and district level offices. That was under a project called Bangla GovNet. That was completed. The second phase, which is ongoing, connects all offices down to the Upazila level. Upazila is just above, above the union. That is the second largest, second smallest rather, government division that we have. So all government offices at that level are being connected at this moment with fiber optic cables. And the next plan, which the next project is to take a fiber optic cable all the way down to the union level. So every government office in every union and these digital centers will have a direct fiber optic connection to the internet and the network, true broadband. And eventually the plan is to connect schools, clinics, markets in the villages. We've been moving at a breakneck pace. 6 years ago, I believe the amount of, there was very little private fiber optic cable laid throughout Bangladesh. There was some government. I think the totals were just a few thousand kilometers. Today, I believe we've crossed 50, 60, maybe 70,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable throughout Bangladesh already have been laid, both by the government and the private sector. We are building not one, a total of 12 high-tech parks that we have planned. The big one is going to be in Kalyakor, which is just outside of Dhaka. It's going to be essentially, the vision is, the hope is to build a modern high-tech township. That is the plan, just outside on the outskirts of Dhaka. There will even be a commuter rail that runs between Dhaka and Kalyakor. But we don't want to be stuck in Dhaka. We want the IT industry to spread out throughout the country. So we have identified 12 locations throughout Bangladesh in just about each and every district, almost each and every district, Sylhet, Rangpur. We're going to build 12 high-tech parks throughout the country. And in the Dhaka, Kalyakor, the plan is to build a special economic zone for the IT industry, special export zone. Similar to what we have with the garments industry, we have the export processing zones where the companies that locate there produce goods for the export market, they get certain tax and other regulatory benefits. We will have the same for the IT industry for those who export. Here's the makeup of our IT industry right now. 44% is software, 56% is IT-enabled services. We have approximately 1,000 IT companies operating in Bangladesh. Revenues here, both official and unofficial figures, because we have a huge inflow from freelancers, which come in through various indirect channels. Total estimate is about $400 million per year right now. We have 250,000 plus professionals employed in the IT industry. This includes these freelancers. Bangladesh is now number 3 when it comes to freelancing in the world. You've heard about our demographic dividend. We have 65% of our population is under the age of 25. We are one of the youngest, if not the youngest countries in the world. It's an IT hungry nation. Freelancing is on the rapid rise again in the entire world in the number of freelancers employed online, Bangladesh is number 3. In terms of abilities and why the IT industry is able to grow so rapidly, is that we have 12 years of compulsory English in our education system. Everyone speaks English to some degree, and our accent is relatively neutral. IT now is a mandatory subject from grade 6 onward. This was a curriculum built by our government, and so we have made it mandatory. We have now 10,000 IT graduates every year from our universities and colleges. And of course, our government itself is in the process of training 100,000 IT professionals in various skills. We have already trained in the last year 18,000. This year we plan to train another 55,000 and then ongoing. These are skills that are in mobile app development, game development, web development, any number of skills. The government is providing direct training. We have a very friendly tax regime, again, thanks to our Honorable Finance Minister. He keeps giving us the IT industry tax holiday, but here I would like to request him that our tax holiday expires this year. In last time he extended it for 3 years. I would like to request him 5 years. I would like to request him here today that he extend it not for 5 years, but for 10 years so that the IT industry can grow. In terms of investment, 100% of foreign investment is repatriable. So foreign companies that bring investment here and profit here, you can take back 100% of your profits, 100% of your investment. And because of those benefits, several big name companies have already come to Bangladesh. Samsung built an R&D center and is operating that, and from what I hear from Samsung execs, that their R&D center in Bangladesh performs better than their R&D centers in India. AMD has a design center here. Accenture has recently started operations. They've purchased a local IT company, and they already have a 600-man outfit operating in Bangladesh. Our IT industry has earned many global recognitions. You can see some of them: A.T. Kearney's, Gartner, Elance Odesk, Coface, Goldman Sachs, and J.P. Morgan's. Our software association, BASIS, has a vision. They call it their One Bangladesh vision, which are a set of goals and targets for the industry. And those targets are earnings of $1 billion a year. And as you can see, we've already made rapid progress towards that. I forgot to mention, while today the exports are 400 million per year, 6 years ago, in 2008, 2009, our annual IT exports were just $25 million. That's it. So we've gone from $25 million to $400 million in 5 years. And their target of $1 billion, I'm sure they'll achieve it. Their goal is to create 1 million IT professionals in Bangladesh, increase internet users to 1 crore, which is 10 million, increase 10 million internet users every year, which again, they're getting there. And our BASIS's goal, my personal goal, that IT should contribute 1% additional growth to our GDP every year. That is our goal. Growth of e-commerce, just to give you some example of the private sector development that has taken place in the IT industry. The number of e-commerce sites in 2011 was insignificant. 2011 still looks like it was barely around 50. In 2013, it touched about 100. 2014, 200. At this moment, as we speak, we have 500 e-commerce sites that operate in Bangladesh. These are local Bangladeshi e-commerce websites. The amount transacted through them in crore takas, again, 2013, approximately 50 crore takas. 2014, that jumped to 300 crores. 2015, we're looking at about 600 crore takas transacted through these e-commerce sites. Mobile financial services in Bangladesh, which these are the people that resell mobile services and provide mobile top-up throughout the country. They have basically the number of retailers and show of how they've grown. Again, I think the numbers are a little difficult to see here. They're all put together, but it looks like in 2011, 2010, less than 100,000. And you can see the exponential growth over half a million there right now in 2014. And this is so you can buy mobile SIMs, top up your, of course you can provide, do top-ups online, but you can buy a mobile SIM and cell phone pretty much near every village in Bangladesh now, in every village. Number of customers, again, that's a little difficult to see. And total transaction volumes used to be under 10,000 crore taka per year, and now approximately 300,000 crore takas per year. Again, rapid growth and all of this, again, just the last 5-6 years, only because of Digital Bangladesh. South-South opportunities, taking services to the citizens' doorsteps. This has been the primary goal, again, as I mentioned in the first slide. Our goal was that no one would get left behind, that citizens should not have to come to the government for service. We will take government services to the citizens. And the goal is that 100% of all government services will be available online through mobile phones, whatever method is convenient to the citizen. They should be able to access government services wherever they are in the country, and because of the internet, wherever they are in the world. So we have a huge expatriate population. This enables our expatriates, we have 11 million expatriates throughout the world. They can access Bangladesh government services no matter where they are in the world, as long as they have an internet connection. The goal, we want to expand our Digital Bangladesh. We don't want to keep it limited to Bangladesh, but we want to share it with our neighbors. We want our region to benefit from this digital explosion. Some of the benefits that we are receiving now, of course, that the cost of these services in other countries is increasing, India, China, because of their success. Their costs, their labor rates are going up, which is good for their people, and it's also good for us because our labor rates are cheaper. So we're hoping to capture some of these markets. And the Philippines minister, our honorable minister, is present amongst us. I see her laughing at me because when I first met her, I told her, yes, we're competitors, so, but friendly competitors. Entry barriers in outsourcing are decreasing. Used to be the traditional model of you needed a highly skilled workforce to develop software because writing code was complicated. This has become much more simplified. Developing apps for mobile phones, for websites, there are many more easier tools now. And so this has enabled us to develop the skill set very quickly with very minimal training to do this. And of course, the existing success stories of IT companies that have achieved success in Bangladesh are now being heard around the world. And that brings us to the end of our presentation. Along with that, there was one last item I wanted to talk to you about, which is for foreign companies and that are looking at Bangladesh, that might be looking at Bangladesh, which is one of the big concerns of a lot of foreign companies, and especially in the IT sector. The traditional model in the IT sector is that your company, it's not just a revenue-based model, but that someday you can go IPO and thereby really increase your returns many-fold. And towards that end, some of the things our government has been doing is that we have been simplifying we're working on simplifying the IPO model. Our IPO policies currently are geared towards capital-intensive industries, but we are hoping to introduce or reformulate rules for software services and IT industries where there isn't much capital. So you can't really value it's much more difficult to value the assets of these companies. They don't have factories and machineries. So how do you value intellectual property? How do you value service? So we are working on that because our stock market has been on a steady growth trajectory along with our economy. So we hope to implement these policies within the next few years. Our governor is here, and I see him taking notes, and we've been in discussions with him to simplify some of these rules. So with that, I'd like to thank you all. I would like to thank all our distinguished guests for coming here from a long way. And all of you, thank you very much for your patience hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Sajeeb Wazed Joy, for your comprehensive presentation. It has covered most of the landscape of digitization in Bangladesh, and also he has given us a dream that where we want to move from here. Bangladesh, as he said, was once dubbed as a bottomless basket, a test case of development. Now it has become a role model for development for many